John Rossi. I'm a touring drummer with a passion for animal conservation. When I'm on the road, I spend as much time as possible visiting zoos, aquariums, and conservation organizations. Now, I want to share those places with you. I'll be talking to keepers, vets, conservationists, anyone who can help me in my mission of connecting my people to animals through their people. Join me on my Rossifari. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome back to, possibly the most chaotic episode ever of the Rossifari podcast. All right, y'all. So it has been far too long since the podcast has been at Greensboro Science Center. But earlier this year, I was able to get back there and record 2 episodes. And this is the first of those. And it features Kelsey Hughes. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the lore of Rossifari, if you're a newcomer or whatever, Kelsey has featured on multiple episodes of Rossifari, not as a guest so much as a story, because Kelsey is in charge of the volunteers at the Greensboro Science Center. And the Greensboro Science Center has really cool hoodies that they give to their volunteers. And I want one because I'm me. And I think I deserve everything. I'm a special boy. And so I asked for one, and she said no. But she didn't just say no. She took pleasure in saying no. And this has turned into a thing over the years. When I've been at Greensboro and when we've done episodes from there, the hoodie comes up and the story gets retold. And now we actually have Kelsey on the podcast. And it's as much fun as you think. And
okay, so normally I start off with an introduction, but screw it, we're doing this.
This has all of the stuff that you've come to expect. It has interruptions from multiple people. It has complete ridiculous derailments. It has us yelling over each other. It has just all the fun. It is such a good time. I laughed so hard recording this and so hard editing it. So we're going to get to that in a minute. But before we do, just a couple quick reminders. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Make sure that you're following along on the socials at Rossifari, on TikTok at Rossifari Pod. There's a Discord. The link is in the show notes. You can go and chat about animal things there and chat about these episodes. And of course, there's a Patreon if you want to support the podcast for as little as $3 a month. You can do so by going to patreon.com/Rossifari. It really helps me with the travel and kind of more fun aspects of this podcast that I get to experience and then you guys get to experience. So please do consider that if you like the podcast. And with all of that said, let's get to it. Here's me yelling at somebody at the Greensboro Science Center.
So ask me the first question that I know you're going to ask me. I'm ready for it. I thought about wearing it into this room, but it's too hot.
I don't even know what
I'm talking about. What episode? Can we re-go back to that I've already been referenced?
I have no idea.
The lore of me.
I have no idea.
The one that will say no.
Have we even met before?
The only one that will say no.
You are. Okay, so normally I start off with an introduction, but screw it, we're doing this.
Yeah.
In this entire world, in this entire zoological world, as Rossifari has gotten bigger and taken off, there have been 2 people who have said no to me when I wanted something.
Yeah.
One of them, because they literally couldn't, it was part of a prize package and they only had one of them, and also it was only a sticker. The other one
is me.
Is you.
And now it's forever.
And now we're here.
Yeah.
So this is just going to be an hour of me cutting you down. No,
Good.
I'm kidding, of course, because what's actually going to happen is you're going to go get me a damn hoodie right now.
We're actually haven't ordered new ones in a while, so I don't have any, and we're heading into
Why would anybody
summer,
want to volunteer here?
So volunteer and find out.
So mad at you.
Volunteer and find out.
I live in Buffalo, New York.
You make it down here quite often.
I do. It has been a while, though.
It has been a while. I was like, I haven't seen him in a while.
No, this is nice. But to give me the thing that I need at the beginning, name, where we are, what you do.
Fair. I am Kelsey Hughes. I am the manager of volunteer and intern engagement at the Greensboro Science Center.
Excellent. And you are the keeper of the hoodies.
I am the keeper of the hoodies.
Seriously, the only person. Yeah. It's honestly, and I know you take pride in that.
A little bit. You've really dug it now, because now it's like,
No, I know. Now I can never get one. Yeah.
Like, sorry, buddy.
See, this is the thing about me, though. I have always had the philosophy that, like, commit to the bit is the most important thing. It's so much fun.
I am. And if anybody's going to commit to the bit.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, I know. The two of us together are trouble. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, no. When I was, like, dating, I would regularly, like, if there was a moment where, like, I'd be, like, on a first date with someone and I'd make a dumb joke and, like, I could tell they weren't super into it. Already I knew it wasn't going to work, because if you can't handle my humor, you can't, it isn't going to work. But so I would just commit to the bit and be like, oh, well, it was fun. Try.
Yeah.
The joke's more important.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so we don't actually hate each other. It's just fun to pretend.
Yeah.
But I kind of hate you a little, but only a little. But I think it's important to have somebody who puts you in your place every once in a while. And somebody has to be the one to do it. Yeah, and that is your role in my life, which is weird.
And I have to say no to a lot of people.
I bet.
So I'm well practiced.
You're good at it. I will say that you are good at it. Yeah. Yeah. There was a time.
Even my VP does not have one. So, like, literally, even the staff isn't allowed to have one. Except for the staff that are volunteer managers or volunteer staff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sense. I will say there was one time that we were here, and Becca and I, and for those listening, if you haven't heard our previous episodes here, Becca is our PR maven and does all the things. See, there she is. She always hops on. And we love Becca. And we were down here, just like wandering, doing whatever. And your office was open and you weren't in it. And I was like, what if I just put one on just to mess with you?
Yeah.
I've never, all joking aside, I've never
we sent you pictures.
But like, we've had a lot. We picked on each other on. And Becca was like, no, don't go there. No,
they're in a locked cabinet anyway, so good luck finding the keys.
I picked locks before.
It probably would be hard, they're cheap, but still.
But this has been such a fun running joke and just such a silly thing. But I actually think that what you do here is very important. I am a volunteer at Aquarium of Niagara, where we also don't get hoodies. And, it's really important, I think. They're important roles. It can often be a thankless role, and one where people get, as a volunteer, it's easy to be kind of taken advantage of. And it's interesting to me to see how different people on staff think about volunteers, because it's not consistent.
No.
And there are people who think of volunteers as their slaves, basically. I've experienced this. I'm speaking from my own experience.
Yeah.
And then there are people who are like, oh my God, thank you so much for being here. Without you, this place wouldn't run. Like, you are the heart and soul of this organization, which is also a bit of a stretch. It's everyone together.
Yes.
But I do think that it's important to have that. And so much so that I don't know if this will happen or not, because there are a million things get submitted. But I did a proposal to AZA for the conference this year to talk about the 5 things that your volunteers and online fans are too afraid to tell you. Yeah. And it's focused a lot on because a lot of people who volunteer places reach out to me and are like, I know you're a safe space to talk about this.
Send me that
this
stuff.
Is what's, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. So I am curious what your take is on the position of volunteer.
Yeah.
And also on what your role is managing that.
It's wild. It's a wild role. Coming from a keeper background, I never wanted to work with people.
Yeah, fair.
Joke's on me. That's where I landed. But it is one of the most important and kind of overlooked to an extent, the volunteer role. Our volunteers, I try to keep a very open office. My door is open. I tell them all the time to come talk to me when they have
the cabinet is not
the
open.
Feedback. That
but
is
the
not.
Office is open.
I had a conversation with somebody yesterday. Like, come to me with your feedback. I can't always do anything with it. It's being the manager of volunteers is a hard place to straddle.
Sure.
Being in that middle management role, knowing what's going on behind the scenes, knowing what we're doing, and then the volunteers, what can they know? What can I tell them? When can I tell them that? So it's a fun place to straddle. Volunteers here, for the most part, are thought of very highly. I think there's always a few that don't interact with them, so they don't really think about them. My initiative right now is to get people thinking about volunteers in a different way, because we talk about our donors, especially with a capital campaign. We're always talking about donors. Volunteers are donors.
Yeah.
So I want to reframe our thought that they aren't just volunteers. They are donors, just of time, not necessarily finances. And, equally as important because that's saving us a lot of time. And it is fascinating. Volunteers are fascinating. My most recent way of talking about my job, it used to be, I manage a lot of people, but don't pay them. Right now, because I was encouraged to do the math of how many hours and how much that equates to a full-time staff person. Volunteers-wise, they equal 19 full-time staff in the hours they've contributed last year.
That's astonishing.
Yes. So,
that's really cool.
19 full-time staff over.
Wow.
But I also, my new joke is it's 19 full-time staff with multiple personality disorder because they range from 14 years old to, I think our oldest is 86, from left and right, from, here and there. It's very drastically different from person to person. So, I can't speak high enough of our volunteers, because they are a backbone and a pillar for this institution, and doing whatever we can do, to support the staff. So I don't know if that fully answered your question.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, no, that's great. But I think it's important because one of the reasons that I was so excited to talk to you, other than our rivalry, which is just great, and also because you're funny and like all the reasons really, but is because I am so passionate about the volunteer thing, and I am a volunteer, and not just at Aquarium of Niagara. I get to do what you're talking about at certain places. You would let me come down here and be a volunteer if I could figure it out and work with you guys, right? And I have done that at certain facilities. There are places, Wildlife World Zoo out in Phoenix. I gig in Phoenix a lot. And they have brought me out, and I'll spend a week or two with their training team while gigging at night and stuff. And so I've done this at multiple places now. Even just sometimes days, volunteering. I was volunteering with penguins at Scoville Zoo for a couple hours, stuff like that. And it is really astonishing to me to see how differently, you're trained as a volunteer and the volunteers are trained, how they're treated with communication, and how they're treated, like I said, by staff. And one of the things I'm kind of curious about is, do you do, or is there any training for staff about how to handle volunteers?
No.
And I feel like that's universal. I haven't heard of a place where there is.
I feel like that is a hard ask on everyone's time.
Totally.
Across the board, a field wide, because I've been around many, I've been to many, across the board. It's not, nonprofits across the board, museums, all of them. Staffing's always a thing. Yeah. for everyone.
Definitely.
So finding the staff time to do that would be wild. Because in the amount of times, because not everyone's here the same day. I'm Monday through Friday, but I come on weekends for volunteer training. So we don't. It's obviously not a bad thought, because I'm sure a lot of people have considered that. But yeah, not at the moment.
I would think it would be something interesting to start to do, even if it wasn't actual in-person trainings. Because you're right. Staff hours are a problem. And that's one of the things, a lot of times I have really great ideas that are super unpractical.
Don't we all?
Yeah, right? And I've basically been my own boss and independent for my entire adult life. So sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, you can't just do it at 3 in the morning, because that's, sometimes I need to research something. I'll just stay up late and do it tonight.
That's your volunteer side showing.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Where you have a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah. But even I don't know, something in staff emails or something like that.
Yeah, we do send, I don't know, this past week, we just brought on 38 new volunteers 2 weeks ago. This past week, they just started. So I sent out, in our weekly staff email being like, hey, we have new ones starting. Please be patient with us over the radio. Because that's the hardest part of any job, honestly, is the radio.
Yeah, that's real.
No one likes to use it. I actually didn't turn mine down. I'm going to do that now.
No, I will tell you, it's
daunting.
Weird. It is daunting.
Especially in an emergency situation. We don't have our volunteers do those, but if they find a lost child, they do let us know, Yeah. So the radio has been the most daunting.
The first time I had to make a radio call, and it was an emergency situation, it wasn't anything super crazy.
Yeah.
But at Aquarium of Niagara, one of the things that you do if you're volunteering with the sea lion team is you go up to the second floor. To look into the pool, there's like 2 floors, and you can look down for the presentations, which is really cool and really popular. Yeah. And so you go up as soon, you open the gate so people can see in, and you make sure that nobody and no toys fall in. And nobody has ever fallen in. But oh boy, do toys. Kids will throw stuff,
Our Maine Wolf exhibit, you've seen it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And so when that happens, and it was like 2 minutes before show, and a kid dropped something in, and I had to make the call, and I knew what to do, but I was like, holy cow, I'm not only making a radio call that will be heard by everyone in this building, but the team is basically like, pulling out the animal they're going to use first. All that. Yeah. Like, it is almost showtime. The music is blasting, so I have to walk away from my post to get into another room to do this and not see anyone else. And then I had to get on and make the right call with the right code. And it was fine, but it was way more daunting than almost anything else I do in life.
It's like, we ask for, your name, your location, and what you're talking about, but like your brain turns off. It's like me. I am a true millennial. I don't like the phone. I don't like leaving voicemails. One of those things.
Yep.
I don't like it. It translates to the radio. Everyone hears you. You don't want to sound dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
And we understand that. So we do a lot of training with our radios during our training and on their first day, but it could be weeks before they have to use it, especially if they're in a staffed area. So that's one of the daunting things that we keep trying. Like, we're trying to figure out how to continually do training on. Those radios.
So in general, well, speaking of training, right?
Yeah.
What is, because every facility has different rules. What are your rules as far as like minimum amount of commitment?
Yeah, I think some people are going to laugh, volunteer managers listening to this, because it's not that strenuous. We ask for 6 hours a month.
Okay.
So that equates to 3 shifts pretty much for us. So it's pretty minimal. We have volunteers that are here every, Tuesday and Friday, or, that come in and do their 6 hours, and we see them next month, and that's what we ask for. So kind of minimal on that side. Our training, our last training was a little over 3 hours. So our trainings aren't as extensive as other places either. They're still extensive and detailed. So yeah. Okay. But the trainings have evolved down and back up, and so we're still trying to find that sweet spot of training.
Sure, that makes sense.
We try to do 2 hours because that's about as much as a brain can take. But a full zoo tour plus safety plus other onboarding content is a little much for 2 hours.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what kind of different volunteer positions are there here?
We have kind of a variety. A lot of the standard ones that zoos have, but and aquariums and museums. We have a docent program. We kind of use docent and volunteer interchangeably. Sure. For those that don't know, docents are educational volunteers. So we have our docent program for our zoo and our aquarium. They also have opportunities to work in our butterfly house with Winter Wonder Lights. We open up other stuff for those volunteers. We call that like a tier 1 role. Tier 2 roles would be more like our dive team. So we have dive volunteers that come in and help us clean larger tanks, as well as like hippos. So ew. Don't envy that one.
No.
And then we have horticulture volunteers helping our horticulture team. We have tier 2 things like they help in our commissary, in our children's farm barn, in our ambassador room, helping with husbandry in there. We're getting ready to reboot a ambassador exercise team where they take our ambassador animals like outside into the runs and just let them run around. Nice. Or take them out like so that they can have some like exercise run around time, and they aren't necessarily just hanging out all day. They get a lot of run around time, but this gives more run around time, so the keepers aren't always the ones having to like keep an eye on them.
Right, yeah.
Our ferrets love outdoor time, so the more we can give them. Trying to think if I'm missing any. We do some teen programs that we do just for the summer, which is helping with our summer camps. That's about 80 kids every summer that we bring on. And then we have pivoted. We had a junior docent program that kind of helped, but we've changed that program. It's a junior ambassador program now. That's a full day shift where they're going to see kind of the inside outside of the science centers. They're going to help education. They're going to help clean up poop in the barn. They're going to help, in our contact area. So giving more of a full scope. That's a much more limited capacity program, but that one's one we're piloting this year to see how that one goes. So we're ever changing. We do events too, generally just our regular volunteers sign up for that. So as much stuff as we can offer, we're trying to do. So it's a wide variety.
What do you think the volunteers get from doing it? I mean, I know it's a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Oh Lord, our teens, a lot of them are here for those service learning hours. North Carolina requires, or at least Guilford County requires, some service learning hours, so they're getting it for their degree in high school. Some are here. There's a lot of people that want to be marine biologists in this area. A lot of them. So we hear it in like a quarter of every onboarding is like, for teens, is like, I want to be a marine biologist, so I want to come get experience here. We're like, well, you're going to be talking about the animals. Like, we don't do hands-on with the animals outside of our contact areas until tier 2. So a lot of marine biology.
Huh. Because of the famous oceans of Greensboro?
I guess. I don't know. I guess we're close enough, but it's one of those ones that I'm like, all right, okay, well, sure.
That's funny.
Yeah. I get it a lot.
Like Telly.
Sure, yeah. I guess, yeah. We do have interjections from Becca.
Also, just yell it out. That's how this works
for
on the
real,
podcast.
yeah.
Guys, I'm leaving this in. Becca
don't make me read.
No, I know. Becca is typing in like font like 72, so it's 2 pages, and she had to scroll. Okay, she had to scroll like an idiot, and she typed the thing.
Don't make me read.
So what did Becca want to make sure you don't forget?
A lot of our volunteers do eventually move towards a portion. Towards staff. So we had Kelly, who you know very well, who was our red panda keeper, now is at North Carolina Zoo. Yeah, a lot of us do. She started out as a volunteer, was in the volunteer department, went to keeper, came back to the volunteer department, went back to keeper. So
if I remember correctly, she told me she's still a volunteer. She's back to being a volunteer, even though she's at North Carolina.
So I did not say tier 3. We do have a tier 3.
Okay, fancy
that
ones.
one's very hard to get into. You either have to have been like a keeper previously to have that background knowledge. A previous intern can stay on as a tier 3. Staff can sometimes do tier 3. I did when I first started as a part-timer here in education, because I did have a keeper background, or be a volunteer that's invited by the staff. So you kind of have to get to know the staff. So we do have a few tier 3 volunteers that started here as a volunteer, have been here for a long time and worked closely with the keepers. So they've been invited to be tier 3. So it's not one we advertise too much because it's hard to get
I'm
to.
Curious, what
we
does
don't
that
have.
Look like, though?
It's basically being with the keeper during the day. It's kind of like it's that husbandry aspect that a lot of zoos offer. That we just have never been that. Yeah. On that side of the volunteering is heavy.
Which makes sense. So I am that at Aquarium of Agri, but other than same thing, people that have worked there and then come back, they had to, I think it took like 6 months of approval. Yeah. And it was because I've done stuff at other facilities and like they knew me from the other, from Rossifari-ing. Yeah. But
it's not something we just go, yep, you can do that, you know.
You got to earn that.
You got to earn that one, And we actually have a new T-shirt color for them now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we color code all of our programs.
That's cool.
So makes it easy to know who, like, why does that one get a purple shirt? Well, they've been here forever and they are now tier 3. So
Right. No, that makes sense. I am actually curious. That's kind of funny that you mentioned that. There's a big debate at different facilities. And everyone I know who is in your type of position feels really strongly about their stance on it.
Oh, interesting.
Which is, should you have something, clothing, whatever, that clearly delineates the difference between staff and volunteer, or should you not? And I know both sides of this argument very well, so I'm curious where you land on it.
In our particular situation, I would say, having the difference is important, just because, like, you can go to the volunteers for anything, but they aren't going to be the ones that make the decisions if something bad happens. They're not going to be the ones escorting people out of the building. They're not going to be the ones. So I don't want to set the expectation that a volunteer is going to be the one, they'll ask people to get down, but if they've asked them twice and they don't do that, that's not out of their realm and a staff person should come out.
Right.
So I don't want to set the expectation that they have the same role as staff or the same, obligations as staff. It's the same with our safety codes. The volunteers can call them, but staff takes over. Like, we don't ask them to manage those emergency situations. I'm not going to have them be like, yeah, you can escort that person that picked up a stingray out of the building. I'm going to come up and do that, right? So I think for us, it's an important one. I can see in other facilities it being kind of, So
the argument against it, and actually, just to be super clear, I'm actually for it for the reasons that you said. I am glad. There have been very, very few times that I've volunteered at places where I have kind of been uncomfortable and was like, Mommy, Daddy, only meaning a staff member.
Yes.
But it has happened, and it some of the facilities that I'm at, including Aquarium of Niagara, we are dressed differently. We are, but then the other side of it is, at the other facilities, the attitude is they want you to have the same authority, so that maybe if somebody picked up a stingray, you're not going to escort them out, but you being the one who says, hey, stop it, they won't look at you and be like, you're wearing a weird little T-shirt. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
And also just with not just the bad stuff, but like at Wildlife World Zoo when I'm there, I often interpret things. I'm very good at it, and I can, fire it off, and they trust me to just be alone with people explaining what they're seeing. And it gives it a sense of authority and makes it a little more realistic than being like, oh, well, is that what they would say kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I do see both sides of it.
I can see that.
But in general, I do think that in the worst moments is when you would want that difference.
And I think it is situational on where you come from, because our volunteers here are well respected in the community. Not that they wouldn't be in another community, but like, it's all about the guest and how they're going to perceive it. And here they look at the volunteers as a resource, as someone who knows what's going on.
Right.
And I love to be the one to go deal with the issue. So
knowing you,
they don't tell me enough. I'm always like, if there's a problem, tell me.
Right.
One of my volunteers recently told me, like 6 months ago, she got pushed by a guest, and I was like, why was I not alerted in the moment? You're taking away that opportunity for me.
Yeah, you get to go have fun.
I get to go be like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Don't lay hands on my people. I'm very protective of my people.
Right, of course.
The only thing I've said this recently, the only thing I'm more protective of is the animals, right?
And the hoodies.
In the hoodies, yeah, for sure. Well, that's in the scale of being of diminishing their job. If I'm just handing out hoodies to anybody, that takes away the specialty for them.
I'm not just anybody. But yes, I hear what you're saying. Anyway.
Selling them in our gift shop diminishes.
No, of course.
So,
it is cool that there is something special.
I'm very protective of my volunteers.
No, you are, and you need to be.
Yes, because from all aspects.
One thing I'm curious about, though, so since you're so mama bear about
I am.
which is awesome, and which I think is important in general, but there is a flip of this, which is that I don't care how good they are, how good your training is, you are going to have people who, often with the best of intentions, are just spreading misinformation, saying the wrong thing, confused, whatever. And I will give you a couple examples of things that I have heard from docents at different facilities.
I was going to say here? You can tell me.
No, honestly.
I do find out that it happens everywhere.
No, of course. And what I do when I do that, knowing people at most of these facilities now, I know either who to reach out to, or I know who I can reach out to who will get it in touch with the right person. And I always, because you don't want misinformation. I'm not looking to get anyone in trouble.
That's one of my battles of here.
Right.
Being like, if you hear something, tell me.
Yeah,
You're not going to get somebody in trouble. I just need to correct the information.
The information needs to be right. But one of the most amazing things I ever saw a docent say, this blew my mind. I'm not even going to say where it was. But
I love these stories.
It was, there were bears, and it was a carcass feeding. And they were getting bunnies.
Good.
Yeah, which, cool, whatever. And they were all very, there was signage up, there were warnings. They did like a great job making it aware you're going to see this situation. Yeah. Cool. And this family came up and was like, oh, that's cool. Wow, look, it's really going to... Where are these bunnies that used to be in your collection? And the docent went, oh, yeah, anytime an animal passes away, if we can. And I was like screaming. And I immediately understood. The only contact I had there was a vet. But I was like, yo, this is happening right now.
That's a bad one.
I don't know who to talk to, but you need to shut this down.
That's a bad one.
She literally was like, we met up later for lunch, and she was like, so that you were kidding, right? And I was like, no. And she was like so upset. And I was like, yeah, no. And she's like, okay, I passed it along, but I was really hoping you were messing with me.
Yeah.
But like, that's a really bad one. But the crazy thing was, this dude wasn't doing it to be malicious.
No.
I'm sure somehow he got it in his head.
Right.
Or he just wanted to, because one of the things that, especially thanks to the internet, nobody wants to admit they don't know something now.
Right. Just look it up.
And so whatever it was, yeah, right? Or radio or calls, whatever, there's a million
there's
options.
So many resources.
But he told that story and I was just like,
no. And
dying.
like from my manager brain, from my volunteer brain, I'm like, oh, they absolutely, like at one point, if they have like a children's farm, like a cow passed away or something and they used that. Like I worked at a zoo that had a very conservation through consumption minded.
Sure.
So like, it was a working farm.
Yeah.
Things were eaten.
Yeah.
And like, use those resources. Like, I'm not here to judge on that one. So I can see where, but like the rabbits, no. Sorry, we have a bird clock.
I noticed that. I was like, there's not a bird in here. There's a clock.
Oops. Forgot about that.
Funny. All good. Animals are allowed on my podcast, even fake ones.
I forgot. Yeah, if anybody, your grandma's in the 90s, that bird clock that we all remember, that's it. My grandma had one.
Time been fixed? Does it play the actual bird?
I think so. It did get off.
It's 1 o'clock, and that's what that says.
Oh, good. There was a while where it would be like...
It was the wrong bird.
It would be the owl, but it would be the owl sound, but it would be the cardinal.
Oh, no.
Anyway.
Yay, education.
A lot about clocks in here, yeah.
Mom, I learned what a cardinal sounds like today. Woo!
Yeah. But we were like, that's not right.
But, so how do you handle when you hear about those situations?
I usually hear about them the next day. So it's like I am bringing this home with my team, like, and other teams. If you hear something, you gotta let me know in the moment. It's very hard to correct because a lot of times it'll be, I heard a volunteer say this last Tuesday. What time was it? I don't know, somewhere between 11 and 2. Our shifts are 10 to 12, 12 to 2, 2 to 4. So
perfect.
That could be, where were they?
Right, yeah.
Oh, I don't remember. Cool. There's a lot of people that could be. Sometimes I can know immediately. Sometimes I'm like, great, I can't correct that. So usually it's a conversation like, hey, can I chat with you for a second? Or if I can't do one-on-one, like they weren't going to be here for a while, shoot an email. Or sometimes if it's bad enough, we're like, well, if one's saying it, then it was overheard and misinterpreted. So we're going to send out an email and be like, hey. Or sometimes it's as subtle as being like, we're going to add a fun fact to this Monday's email. Fun fact. Gibbons are not monkeys, or whatever it would be. Like,
fun fact, we weirdly do not feed all of our animals to other animals.
Yeah.
Isn't that a fun fact?
Yes. So sometimes it's very much so like, aha.
Right.
To try to catch everybody. So it definitely depends on the specific. It's bad enough. And I find out in time, I'm going to go in that moment to that volunteer and be like, whoa.
Right.
What's up? Where did you hear that? How can I? So I have learned in the last few years, I've been managing 4 years now. You got to ask questions.
No, totally.
That's how you address things. You got to ask the questions, figure out where they're coming from, and address it from there. If they're just wrong, it's like, whoa. But a lot of times, like with that carcass thing, it's probably one thing happened and they thought it happened all the time now.
Yeah. No.
I can absolutely see that jump, but I'm also like, my gosh, what would I do if I heard that?
I never assume bad intent.
Right.
Because if you're volunteering to be at a place, you're probably not a problem. Like,
no. Yeah.
But it is funny. I will tell docents at facilities, and I will always couch it and be like, hey, so I'm actually a conservation educator.
Yeah.
But red pandas are not just raccoons that were painted. Thank you for, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you hear this weird stuff.
Yeah.
And there was one time, one of my favorite little memories ever was, I was, again, I'm not going to say what facility, but I was standing at the red panda habitat. And it was a facility where I have a great relationship with the red panda keeper. Mm-hmm. And so I've been in with the pandas. I've hung out with pandas. I know the pandas. I fed the pandas dozens of times, right? Like, these are my friends. And the docent, I don't remember what the fact was, but was just so off the wall. And I just turned and was like, hey, so I'm a conservation educator, actually work in red panda conservation. Whatever it was. Like I said, they're not just raccoons that were painted red. It was something like that off the wall, right? And they were like, well, that's what they told us. And this other person in plain clothes was like, hi, I'm the supervisor of this area, and no, nobody has told you that.
Yeah.
And it was literally the registrar of the whole area.
Yeah.
And they were like, and it was just this funny moment where the two of us combined, and then they dozed and took it well, and kind of wandered off. And then the registrar turned to me and was like, "Thanks. So who are you?" And
And again,
she was like, "I was about to say something."
From my standpoint, I am a joker.
Yeah.
I make a lot of jokes, bad jokes during my training, such bad jokes for my own amusement. And every once in a while I get a group, this last group thought I was hilarious. And I'm like, you guys, you get me. So I can see that being like, somebody once told me that they look like they're raccoons. And then I said that, and that's the only part they heard.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah,
being mindful of how you say things for sure.
It's something I have had to learn on this podcast.
Honestly,
I make dumb jokes too, and then 10,000 people hear them in a week, and I'm like, oh, sorry, that was a joke.
It was a joke. Read my tone, not my words. It's not about my words. It's about my tone.
Yep. Oh man. So, you mentioned that you come from a keeper background, and I want to learn about that. So, tell me what your journey was before you got to this position.
Wild. So I went to a small school in Kentucky for 2 years and went through like 10 different majors. Started an English major, social worker at one point, blah, blah, blah. And then one day decided, that's what I could do. And so I found a program. So I went to Friends University in Wichita, Kansas, and got the zoo science degree there.
So I'm going to pause you for a second. Yeah. Sorry. So at AZA this last year at Annual, a group from Friends University came.
Cute.
And flagged me down because they are Rossifari fans.
Yeah.
And
so shout out.
we super bonded. And I love all of them. And as a matter of fact, while I was here at your lovely facility today, I just found out that Jaden, one of them, got her dream job at Central County Zoo.
Oh, nice.
And they have a great relationship with the zoo and everything. And I am so proud of her. And I'm giving a full shout out right now, Elephants, where they have the 4 babies right now.
Yeah. They're building a new building.
What a huge...
That team is crazy. Absolutely. Shout out Michaela. Nice. So my favorite keeper for that department.
That's awesome. I love that so much.
Saw Titan in Atlanta, which you will see Titan in Atlanta. He was one of the original that came in. I worked there when the elephants came in from Swaziland.
Nice. Okay, cool.
I was there when Titan came in and then was in Atlanta for a conference earlier this year. And he was out on exhibit. So I messaged her and was like, look at your boy. Because she's one of the original elephant keepers from when they came in.
I love that
she went through the program with me. So that's where I spent my zookeeping career. Before I went out there, I did an internship in Cincinnati.
Okay, great.
So that's where I grew up. I grew up around Cincinnati,
nice.
So that's my home zoo.
Be heading there in about a week and a half.
That's where I grew up in the Kentucky side, but that's where I interned there, and then I went out to Kansas and I interned in their amphibian and reptile building. That was my focus at the time, and then interned with their practicum, whatever they call it nowadays, with their education department. I worked part-time with their amphibian and reptile department for a couple months after I graduated, moved into the children's farm area, and was there for a few years. And then interruptions. And then, got to clean up after them children that were in here this morning, learning about plants.
They just know how messy I am and thought we'd be done talking about now.
She was like,
I said we're doing an interview, and she said, oh.
It is hard to see through those things.
It is, yeah.
It's really those hard. Window things should have been higher or lower, one of the two, for everyone who can't see what we're talking about.
They're not at child size.
That's true. I'm not a child. I'm child size, but I'm not a child. Because all of these teenagers today have been taller than me.
That is fair. Oh my gosh. What are you doing here? No,
hold on. We have to let this one interject. She has to come in.
Yeah, of course. Oh my gosh. What are you doing interrupting my interview? Get in here.
Welcome.
Come on. Get in here. No, you have interrupted. We are live right now.
Eye contact with What's up?
What are you doing in here? Get in here.
Enters my work wife.
Now it's weird.
It is weird. It's been weird.
You would stop in my office when you were done.
Oh, I'm going to come right now.
I have something for her.
I can't. I'm going to interrupt the interview.
I already did
It's
it.
Yeah, no, this is all
Derail.
going live, so let's just be honest.
This is
apologize
Jessica
for
Good.
interrupting.
Yes, hi Gooch, how are you?
I love my son for her.
Oh, that's important. See, that's important.
But she's going to see the one with the special background,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It's very important. It's very important.
Spring photos.
Oh, nice.
Jessica
Real
Gooch
cute.
is our education events and collections manager.
Nailed it.
Nice. Yeah, only took 2 tries. Yeah.
You were super close the first
Well, it's
time.
because I was going to say collections manager, and then I was like, well,
I'm
you're
more
also,
than that,
yeah.
though.
And Jessica is one of the people who we've hung out a ton here.
Yes.
Yes, and I've gotten to see your whole behind the scenes cool
You have
area.
seen all the
and
cool stuff I have behind the bag of teeth.
it's so amazing. The bag of teeth.
Zoo, aquarium, and museum.
Science museum.
Yes. Woo.
Yeah, actually, you'll probably be talking to Jessica Gooch for our Diamond Jubilee.
Nice.
Yes.
Excellent.
Planning it already. I'm
Oh,
super
we're dancing.
excited.
We're all dancing,
it's
guys.
gonna be
I don't
so
know why.
fun.
We got big days.
We're all dancing. That's really good. Yeah.
We got big things planned. So.
Why does every episode here go off the freaking rails?
Because
Just out
it's
of
us.
curiosity. Oh, right.
Have you met us?
Right. I forgot.
Because we're all a little crazy.
That's fair.
It's why we are fun.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not
We don't
wrong.
get a lot of sunshine.
This is a basement.
don't
That is
like
true.
We live in
Yeah.
a basement. We call it yard time.
lunch so that I could spend more time for my daily yard time.
Yeah, our daily yard time.
Outside time.
my outside time. They let me outside once a day.
Yeah.
I do. I'm gonna go sit back in my dark, secluded office now. So
Good,
get
good.
back to that interview.
All right. Goodbye. Are you coming back, or you're leaving and coming back? Okay. Bye.
The pause that will be in between what I did in the farms department and afterwards.
That's hilarious. So
I can't do a dang thing here without being interrupted.
That's never. I've done so many
It's
interviews
not
here,
possible.
and
It's
there's
not
always at least one extra
possible.
voice on them.
Yeah, it's not possible.
So, okay, so you were at Central County,
Yeah.
and you were interning there, or whatever you
I
called
started working there in 2013 as a amphibian reptile keeper for a few months, which was cool because their collection is fantastic, and the stuff behind the scenes and the stuff I got to do, so cool. Shout out Michelle. I'm gonna keep doing that, and Nate. And then I was in the children's farms department. I was the lead keeper over their African barn for 3 years, and then I worked third shift, which they don't have third shift anymore. But I was there from midnight to 8 a.m. So
Why? Most zoos don't have that.
A lot of them don't, and they have gotten rid of that role.
Okay.
But for a while, instead of just a security detail, they had me for 3 years, and people prior to that. But I was keeper, so I cleaned a barn. I was medical. I did medical stuff overnight, like giving medicines, or one of the first things I did on my training day was give a grizzly bear medication in a marshmallow.
Nice. Yeah, as one does.
As one does. And then I did some commissary stuff. I did checks on everything. I was there for birth watches. So, the first couple,
That's really cool.
the first couple gorillas that were born there, I was like the third person to see one, the second person to see the other, because
Nice.
I was the one that called them in. Or I got to help hand rear an Amur leopard for a while because they had to do night feedings and they weren't going to come in. So I hand reared. I think he's still in San Diego.
Okay.
I think his name is Charlie now.
That's
So I've done a
crazy.
lot of crazy stuff. Because it was just me and a couple custodial staff. That was
Right.
the only people. So I was security as well. So anytime something happened overnight, and that gets to the weird side of it. But at one point I saw a random car in our parking lot, and went out there and was like, "Hey, what you doing in our parking lot?" And it was right when Pokemon Go started. So it was a car full of adult nerds at 3 a.m. playing Pokemon Go. I was like, cool. You got to do it somewhere else.
Pokemon Go out of our parking lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was like, can't do that. A couple rendezvous here and there for people where,
Yep.
I'm just driving by in the truck and like, please leave.
Yep.
Couple, crazy trains, police cars, a lot of random stuff happening at night.
That's crazy.
So
That's fun. That's cool.
it's
That's a cool
it was,
role, though.
it was difficult because you were the only one. So if
Right.
horrible storms from the Midwest came rolling in, I had to go lock in some lions if they weren't already locked in, or I had to go, clear drains because like they got full of hay or whatever. Right. We all know from the zoo field, not every exhibit is perfect. So clearing drains, whatever it may be. So it was jack of all trades of doing anything that needed to be done overnight. Which is so wild. And I have the craziest stories they probably wouldn't appreciate me saying, for the most part. Cause stuff happens.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean, the reality of that is important to acknowledge. And you're right. You don't want to need to share every story.
I don't need to share everything.
But, I'm such a huge fan of transparency. And I will say, Sedgwick County, I mean, they threw open the doors for me when I was there. Yeah. They introduced me to people. They took me places. I was behind the scenes all over the place. They are very transparent. There is the balance of transparent and literally if you tell every story, just everything's crazy. Like, no company, no organization, no person puts all their bad stuff out there. But things happen. Things happen. And when you're dealing with a live collection, things happen.
So I was there from spring of 2013 to August of 2018.
Okay. Now, I don't know if the timing of this works out, but I'm going to have to ask you if a name means anything to you. And that name is Shanae.
Oh, yeah. Obviously. I work for her. I love her Shanae.
So much. So Shanae has worked with the Friends University students a lot, as well as being there. Shanae gave Zoe and I a private tour of the zoo on the recommendation of another big zoo fan who took a tour with her. I believe it was Jay Dunkley, who said, when you're there, you need to make this happen. And so I made it happen. Shanae and I have run into each other at other facilities as well. One of the most, and she's been on the podcast, not as an interview, but like with Friends University students when I ran into her at a different zoo and the Friends University students talked to her. And she actually was on as herself at ACA last year. Yeah. And just like one of those humans who everybody loves and just makes the zoo world a better place.
I go visit her and Kara and the team that I still know there, Penina, every time I go visit because my in-laws still live in Kansas.
That makes me so happy.
I go, and every time I get the chance, because my previous work wife, Alicia, shout out Alicia, because she's my BFF, who works with the orangutans and chimps there, which is a whole job in itself, over there with all them babies.
Yep. I got to go in with the two chimp babies that were separate with their moms right then. Yeah. And I forget how old the youngest was, but I mean, we're talking baby. Yeah. That was an experience.
Well, and it's wild. Primates are wild. At one point in my life, I almost would have worked for that department, but at that point in my life, I was not a big primate person. And obviously, they're not going to take somebody in that kind of sphere that's going to not want to do primates. Right, yeah. So absolutely fair. Learning experience for me. Because now, working third shift, I was in every space, right? Like, I was checking on all animals every night. So, I got to know the primates particularly well. And my two loves have since passed. I don't know if you were there with Daisy, the orangutan.
No.
My heart animal. And then Zuzo was one of the gorillas. And I love that boy so much. He was at Cincinnati at one point. So, yeah, that department, those animals, those primates changed my life because I was not a primate person. And now, I love those babies.
I was not a primate person or a bird person when I started this podcast.
Passerines is my new answer. Okay. Tiny birds that I can break, not into it.
And now I love them all. I literally, there's not an animal that I don't love at this point, thanks to being, when you get introduced to these animals through their people, especially.
As soon as we open the biodome, my opinion on passerines will change because the macaw here, Ruby, is my heart animal. I'm on her training team. Nice. So, I have lots of heart animals. But I'm sure I'm going to love passerines here in a minute. But
what cracked me up the most was, we're at Sedgwick County with the opportunity to meet these two little babies. And they invited Zoe back. And Zoe is a vet and is very invested in this world, but is not interested in primates. She knows the medicine, but doesn't really. Yeah. And she was like, I'm going to go to the farmyard and hang out with the goats. And I was like, yeah, heard, but also we're going to do that. We were actually doing an interview at the farmyard. I was like, you're going to get to meet the baby goats. We've already been told. But I'm like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity because I don't know what zoos are going to end up at, but a whole lot don't have these, whatever. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to go hang out with baby goats. And I was like,
that's a choice.
Okay. And then later we were hanging out with baby goats and I was like, do you wish you had done both? And she's like, no, this is just more goat time for me. And I was like, okay.
Those baby goats, though.
Oh, they're good. I mean, they're good.
I love lambing kidding season. I was over, part of my job was taking care of all of the intact males.
Nice. Okay. Okay.
And so that's a whole another wild side of it. Their farm department is amazing.
It really is. All the heritage stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So cool.
And like the night pasture of it all, the end of the day parade, like, you know, when you're in the moment of stuff, you don't appreciate it. And there are still some things like, you know, everyone has things in their roles. Like, you're not always going to agree with everything. It's not always going to be perfect.
Dude, I'm
even
a
if you work for yourself,
and
you know?
I whine about stuff all the time.
Right. Like, there's always going to be things, but like,
I get mad at things I've said on Rossifari.
Right. The thing about third shift and the thing about farm, like I miss those and being in those moments and those, but you grow from them. They're always extreme life, you know, experiences that help you grow. And I have taken things from those experiences. I mean, like, that's something I don't want to do. That's something I really want to do. That's something the type of, you know, whatever. But every once in a while, like with third shift, that was an experience that like I'm so thankful for.
Yeah.
Didn't love it at the time because who wants to be, you know, I was sleeping 4 hours a day maybe and like, you know, a lot of responsibility on one person, you know, but on a quiet night, fresh snow when it was silent and every night at 3 a.m. when the lions would roar. Those are the moments.
Yeah.
That like from my keeper years, I'm like, those are the ones that I like to bring back to because zookeeping is not an easy career by any facet on your body, on your emotional toll. Like, but you got to remember those moments.
Yeah.
And those were always like special, beautiful moments because those lions were always like, it's 3 a.m. Just so everyone knows, it's 3 a.m. Thanks. So from afar, from across campus. Gotcha, guys.
That's so funny. No, that's one thing that I've really learned doing this is like, one of the beautiful things about this podcast is that it captures a moment in time at each facility. And I was talking to Becca today. You know, this is my first time back here in a while, just because life got in the way.
Yep.
I love coming here, you know that. But I was coming here when there were bintlets and panda cubs.
Yep.
And it was a huge thing. And I was here every month, and I was behind the scenes with them, and I was documenting them being raised. Yep. And I was feeding and helping out with certain things. And I will never forget that moment in time. And it's so special to me.
Yeah.
But then obviously, Miso, you know, she was sick and she had her problems and she passed. And that happens. Broke my dang heart.
Yep. That was a hard one. And it was in succession with quite a few other of our very geriatric friends.
Right, which of course makes sense.
Which is, a testament to our team because like all on my tours, I'm always like, sorry, this friend is very geriatric, but is a testament to our care because a lot of our team, or a lot of our animals are well beyond life expectancy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, Miso was a rough one.
Yeah, it really was. And I mean, God, I loved her. And, but like, those 5 animals, the 2 bintlets and the 3, you know, the trio, were what made our relationship so special, or why I know you, or why Becca and I are really good friends who text regularly now. Like all of those things happened. Yep. And now Miso's gone, and the other ones are gone alive, but at different facilities. I'm actually going to see Zuko soon, and I'm really excited to go see him. And Paul, the primary keeper, was like, "Oh, you'll be so excited to come see Zuko again," and I can't wait. He's so good. Yeah. But you know, this is an animal I hung out with every month and then just gone. And it's weird coming back here and being, especially with Kelly gone too.
Yes.
It's just like, because that was my primary keeper friend here. And I came back and I was like, and I'm so happy and I love it. And the biodome stuff looks incredible.
Oh my gosh,
it's all good stuff. But at the same time, what a different, like there was this shining moment where all those things were here. And I'm so lucky to not only have those memories, but to have documented them and talked about them and have the podcast. And I can go back to when the Red Panda kindergarten class happened. And I can look at those pictures when we were all painting together.
Incarnate.
And just my whole clothing outfit. My whole outfit was ruined by them. And I loved it. You know? I still have the socks.
Going in there is one of the most stressful moments of my life.
The socks.
Because they were just chaos.
When they painted and then they crawled all over me, I kept the socks and they still have the paint on them. It's because it doesn't wash off. And so I wear them just almost like tie-dye socks sometimes. Like it's such an amazing thing. But this industry is so like, it's every day, but at the same time, there are these different like slices and these moments.
Perfect moments.
Yeah. Yeah, I really get that.
It's such a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, when something that you've given your heart and soul to passes. It was camel for me, was one of my big ones.
Wow.
I have a tattoo of his footprint.
Nice.
That's kind of like what I've started doing is like, I need one for Daisy. I haven't done that one yet, but I have a tiger and a camel on my leg for those guys. That I worked tangentially nights, I worked kind of with everything. I wasn't like their main keeper or their main source of doing anything,
matter.
but I was still a presence for them, and I was still, involved in making sure they were okay.
That's one of the things that I'm going to talk about if I get to do this thing at mid-year, is that your volunteers, your custodial staff, your everyone who is here, your podcaster that comes in a couple times a year if he's lucky, falls in love with these animals and cares. One of my favorite memories ever is I was at the Columbus Zoo, and I had just walked out of the manatee sea turtle area, and I was walking towards the Australia area. And this dude was pushing one of those big old dumpster things, and it was gathering up all the trash, right? And I kind of remembered thinking like, ugh, that's got, like, of all the places to be a janitorial staff, a zoo's got to be tough. And it was just a fleeting thought. And he looked at me and he goes, hey. And I was like, did I say that out loud? And he's like, I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, you're going to get to the night house, right, man? And I was like, what you mean? And he's like, the in Australia, we got that building that's like nocturnal stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I never miss it. Tree kangaroos, binturons, like I love it over there.
Yeah.
And he was like, cool, that's my favorite place. I like the wombat. Every time I'm on break, I go and I check out that wombat. And I was like, you're a, like, and it just never occurred to me that like that man loves that wombat. You know what I mean? And it was it's drilled in my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is a beautiful thing. And not only that he cares, but that he's walking. He didn't know I wasn't Rossifari. I was just a dude at the zoo that he wanted to make darn sure did not miss a wombat.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it's fun watching those interactions with people. I'm not out all the time on the ground. Like during the summer, you are not going to find me near tigers. I don't want to walk that far. But like I said, I'm on a training team with our macaw Ruby. Like it's never a bad day when you can take a minute and go see something. Like my husband's so jealous of my job because like if I'm having a stressful moment and I need to like not, I can go make enrichment. I can go train a bird or the chinchillas because I love those guys. They're my incredible heart and soul too. Nice. There's so many opportunities to go film a dumb video with Becca.
Who has put out some seriously dumb videos lately.
And most of them have me and Jessica G in them.
Yeah, I know. We were texting about
her
that.
tapped into science.
Like my brain has
tapped into science videos. Peak.
So good.
Peak.
So good.
So it's tough.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Working with a lot of people is tough. Working with animals is tough. But man, those fleeting moments are.
Yep.
Just, the first time Ruby went in her crate for me. Ruby loves her crate. It's not a hard ask. But yes, those little moments. And not all of our staff gets that deep of moments. No. My background in zookeeping is helpful for those. Yeah. But still, if you're running around picking up trash, at least you get to look at animals while you're doing
100%,
it.
100%, yeah.
You can take a break and go see your favorite animal every day.
Yep. My life would be so much better if I could just, and I love my job. I love being a drummer. I'm good at it. I work with people I love most of the time. It's great. But man, if I could bop off stage and go see a red panda whenever I wanted, I would be even happier. Which is why I do as many zoos. Yeah. I mean, my whole project started because I was on a tour that was very toxic, and I wanted to get away from it as much as possible and go to the happiest places I could think of. So I started going to every zoo in every area. That's how I learned about all this stuff. I always loved zoos, but zoos and aquariums, I'd been to a few. But once I started touring, once I needed the animal of it all, and then it just snowballed. So that's very cool. Now I'm curious, has it been hard for you walking away, since you were a keeper and then transitioning to this role? At least you get to do some stuff.
Right. I moved to North Carolina without a job. Okay. For reasons. We all have reasons in life. With the idea of getting a job at the NC Zoo, I didn't know the Science Center existed. Applied there, that's a hard one because it's state run to really even grapple into. You can, it's a one. You can have all of the right attributes to get into that role. If you don't word it correctly, they won't see it. But so I applied there, and then knew somebody that loved it here who knew the CEO at the time. So I ended up applying here and becoming an educator. So I taught school programs. So I got mostly the animal side, worked a lot with our ambassador animals. It's where I truly fell in love with chinchillas, working with those guys. And then, some days I'm like, yeah, I do miss it. Other days I'm like, it was already taking a toll on the body.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not for everyone a forever job. It takes a toll.
Yep.
And not everyone's built to make it their entire career. And again, I was never gonna be I was like, ugh. That's why I was like not with primates. I was like, that's too close to humans. I don't want it. Life irony. So I stayed in that role, still applied for keeper jobs here and there, but really fell in love with the education team here. I'm very minded of it's not necessarily the job, it's the people you're working with. Like the most terrible job not that my job is terrible, but the most terrible job can be made incredible with the right team.
Absolutely.
The worst or the best job in the world can be destroyed by the people you're with.
Absolutely.
So, I loved, working for Martha and like everything. So when the opportunity of the volunteer manager left, I immediately went to Martha and was like, is this a role you could see me in? And, people will be mad at me for saying this. Managing people is not that different from managing animals to an extent. Entering the queen as we speak. The woman who gave me a chance.
Hey, welcome to our interview.
Queen Martha.
Now you can ask Martha for a hoodie.
Oh, Martha, can I have a volunteer hoodie?
I don't know how many hours have you volunteered here.
So many. If you think of all the time that I have put in interviewing people here and spending time behind the scenes with keepers trying to help out with stuff, probably more than some of your volunteers.
Trying to help out with stuff.
Oh,
Thanks for trying.
The only bigger no person you're going to find on this one is Martha.
yeah. No. I still argue that I have volunteered a lot of my time at this facility, just in a different place. But, oh, God, I'm getting the look again, guys.
Well, that's
guys, she has
because
a look.
you're
It's a
getting
look.
to do
It's
things
a-
that staff and volunteers don't get
No,
to
I
do.
know. I am very, very aware. One of the funny things for me is I have zookeepers who are insanely jealous because they get to work with animals every day, and I'm jealous of them. But
Clean up time
oh
for
my
class.
gosh, it's a hula hoop. I'm not even gonna ask. Nice.
They only
'Cause
put
we-
rockets inside the hula hoop.
We also do science here.
Yes. Yeah. That's
Science
amazing.
museum. We also do science. Queen herself.
But yeah, I will always be jealous of, keepers that get to work and build these relationships every day. Meanwhile, they're jealous of the fact that they've, worked with the binturong that I love for a decade, but never met a red panda or even seen a tree kangaroo.
Right.
While I spend time
tree
with them all
kangaroos.
the time. Yeah, right. Oh
They're
my gosh,
wild.
they're so
Oh.
good. I love them so much.
They're so cute.
So good.
The babies.
But, yes. And again, that's the kind of experience where have I seen one in a pouch? I have.
Yep.
Have I gotten to go every month and watch it develop and grow? I have. What?
Yeah.
How? I'm a drummer,
Yeah, in a smaller facility like us, medium facility, I would say now. I was small when I started.
Medium.
The
We'll go with schmedium.
the difference between October of 2018 when I started and today is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
different.
And it's only going to be even crazier.
Yeah, in the next 2 years.
much,
So now I'm losing my train of thought because Queen Martha came back.
Martha just keeps walking. Do you know how interviews work?
Martha owns this building. What do you mean?
You just don't care.
1.5 minutes long.
I trained her well. I've trained her well.
Oh, she's
She
the
said she won't
best.
be back.
Yeah.
I heard welcome back. So either way,
None of us could hear.
no, I'm 100% deaf.
So funny.
You're gonna have so much fun splicing this together.
Oh my God, this is going to be a 3-minute interview.
3 hours.
Yeah.
No, but
That's funny.
yeah, I think it's cool though making that transition, and I think it's cool that you still get to be with.
It was definitely
animals, though.
a mental choice for me because
Right.
I was like,
No, I
again,
get that.
managing people was never, and I just like I like internally looked at myself and I was like, you need to make the choice right now that you're going to pivot and you're going to manage people. And so I applied. She interviewed lots of people. I applied. I put in the work and did some interim stuff between the previous person leaving and getting hired. So I played the game.
Yep.
But I also just had to do that mental shift. Sometimes you just got to tell yourself. It's much easier to convince yourself to do something than to stop doing something.
Yes.
So I definitely was like, you're a manager now. act like it. It's still taken me a while to get to that point. Everyone has moments as they're growing that you're like, oh, could I handle that better? But yeah, it's been a ride. It's been a different one. I tell the teens all the time, like, what do you want to go to in college? You don't know. I had 15 different trajectories before I landed on one, and even then, my degree is not what I have right now. Who knows where you're going to end up?
I mean, I was always super focused on the music thing, and now I'm doing all of this with Rossifari and the conservation work, and I kind of think of drumming as my day job. And I could see a world where, I'll always drum because I like drumming.
Right.
But I could see a world where I would do this more professionally. This would be my job.
Yep.
And that would be a hobby. And I wouldn't have been able to see that until just a few years ago. It's crazy to me that, even when you're like me and 24 years old, you can 100% see that change happening, and it's mind blowing.
Yeah,
it was my focus since I was a kid, and it was 6th grade when I was shown the Beatles on Sullivan in class, and I'll never forget it. And just like all the people who did it back in the 60s, I took one look at that and I saw Ringo, and I was like, "Yep," and that is all I'd wanted to do since. And now here I am, all these years later, going, "Do I?"
Yeah, you and Glenn,
amazing.
Your love of Ringo Starr.
Heck yeah. Ringo Starr, man. I could do a whole podcast about how great Ringo is, but that's not what we're doing.
Do that one with Glenn.
Yeah,
you guys would have a great time.
We really would. It's sad but true. But we are at the end here. So is there a conservation organization that you want to give a shout out to that, I don't know, might be a safe program about your favorite animal?
It is. The Safe Chinchilla is one that I am focused on at the moment. National Chinchilla Day is coming up soon. I know we're not going to air before then, but so I'm going to be doing some support for that through our AZAC chapter, where I'm going to raise funds, but also we do a whole thing where I'm going to match those funds as well, because I wanted to give as much as I can. We also have 2 chinchillas here that I work with that are in our ambassador program. I also, because sometimes hate myself, I rescue them in my spare time. So I have 3 at home.
Oh my goodness.
So every time we partner a lot with and I'll shout out them to Red Dog Farm, is a local rescue that takes in pretty much anything. So anytime they've gotten a male chinchilla in the last 4 years, I have taken it. So I have 3 babies at home. So I do a lot. I spend a lot of time with those friends. So I'm very passionate about their conservation. And they're shout out to the Safe Chinchilla in general, because their toolkits every year are fire. It doesn't take much to put in a table work for that when they do the legwork. And so they do a fantastic job. So shout out to them. They're selling a sticker this year that is so cute.
Nice.
So that would be my conservation one that I'm focused on at the moment.
Very cool. And then I know you've been thinking about it for a week. It's time.
It's time now, don't you know? We've come to the end of the show. But there's one tale left to go. You're gonna laugh and say, oh no. It's time for the Rossifari poop story.
Poop story, but I think I am going to go with the not poop story.
Cool,
I have
great.
lots of poop stories, but they aren't as fun.
No, do that. It's just any ghost story.
Because keepers are wild.
Oh, yeah.
So when I was in the farmer's department, we used to flick it at each other. Nothing like a frozen cow patty coming your direction. And in camel crap, that one's a really easy one to get between the tines of a rake and really fling at somebody.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice. Good to know.
Yeah. So there's those instances in my life. Some that are really gross that maybe I don't want to share with the world that happened overnight when you're by yourself. Animals are animals. But I did work with a camel. His name was Cahill. He has since passed, but he ended up having a facial abscess. And actually, Shanae was there. So
nice.
Shanae was in the space with me, with the vet team and our senior keeper, but I was holding on to him because I was his main keeper. And let me tell you, as someone who is, and again, we talked about it, keepers are either peelers, those are our amphibian friends that like to take that little bit of iguana shed off, or poppers. One or the other. I'm definitely a peeler. I'm not a popper. So someone popping an abscess in my face was not what I wanted to do that day. But everyone else in that space was jazzed about it. They were poppers, but I don't know how graphic you want me to get in my description of it. It looked like a candy cane melting out of his face.
Oh.
Between the things that are in abscesses. And it was not small because he's a camel. So that's one of my core camel memories, because I was just like, oh, no, not a good day in the farm.
That is
not
so
a good day in the
gross.
farm.
Oh.
Yeah, I've done a lot of weird stuff, but that one was one of my grossest. My grossest ones. Yeah. I was just,
Awesome.
and I think the reason why it's is because I was the only one that was a peeler in that space. And there was like 5 or 6 of us, and they were just like, oh, that's so good. And I was like, y'all are gross. But in the same tone, if I had been over with an iguana and been like, yes, they would have been like, oh. So everyone has their thing, I guess.
Oh my goodness. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, and let's go grab me that hoodie.
No.
Guys, she didn't give me a hoodie. I really thought that by being cute and having her on the podcast and having such fun about it, that she would be like, okay. But she said no, because she is the one who says no. And all joking aside, I really, I loved that episode so much. I hope y'all did as well, because it was just, I think, silliness and fun aside, volunteers are a huge part of the zoological field. And I think thinking through what those programs look like and what it means to lead them is really important. The thing that stood out to me the most in this episode, honestly, other than me not getting a hoodie, is the fact that, Kelsey said that when she did the math, the volunteers accounted for 19 full-time positions last year. That's astonishing. That's, if you've ever worked anywhere, can you imagine what it would be like if they were like, hey, we're hiring an extra 19 people? That's astonishing. So yeah, I thought that was really cool and a really good perspective on that. And despite us picking on each other, I do love Kelsey, and she kind of tolerates me. So, it's nice that relationship is still going strong. I cannot wait to get back to the Greensboro Science Center again. We do have one more episode coming from there soon. But I just love it there. There are some places that will always be so special to me, and Greensboro is definitely one of them. So I do want to say thanks to Kelsey, to Becca for setting that up, to the 37 people who interrupted our interview, and of course to my patrons, especially my Red Panda level patrons, Dr. Laura Schenk, Dr. Stephen Williamson, Barbara Bennett, Jenny Owens, Melissa Reed, Carrie Kirkpatrick, John Lewis, who is also here for stickers, Kevin Williams, and Cormac McMuffin. Meow. We will be back here on Friday with Zoo News, and until then, remember, friends, the word credits backwards is, you guessed it, Steiderk. The Rossifari podcast is produced, hosted, and engineered by John Rossi. Editing and fact-checking by John and Dr. Zoe Rossi. Our theme song is Sevens by Nathan Burke, performed by Nathan and John. Interrupting John theme and additional voices by Taylor Isaac Gray. You can reach John directly on Instagram and Facebook at Rossifari, or by email at rossifaripod@gmail.com. Rossifari is part of the Daydreamer Media Network. Now, stop listening to me and go visit a zoo.